the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Hidden hatred behind the eyes of politeness, smiles that never were, a lecture that I don't really know how I feel about sharing, but I must, I guess, because this moment has moved forward like this. And the value of this lecture is not to fit into the norm. The norm has already been seen. It is boring. It is about the unknown. It's about the views that we don't have yet. It's about all the uncharted territory waiting for human exploration internally and externally. The title of this episode arises to me due to personal experience of this. And it's not something nice to say, but I must say that I have been that person. I have been that person, that type of person in human history, where many moments I was just raised like this. I was conditioned like this, okay? Where politeness and appearing pleasant and nice was superior to what the being actually was. When I look at my life, it's been a game of simulations. Everything has been simulated. Everything is positioned, and the real value of everything that has been positioned is unknown. We know it through our actions, but that does not satisfy the moment we discover the limits of the type of being that we are. There are so many different kinds of human beings, and it's fascinating because it's like they brought a crowd of people and they're like, this is a world, engage with it. And different people born in different sectors of reality have allegiances to the values that their psychology was in some sense constructed through. Do not in any way think that you are what you think, because you are the echoes of a very long process. And to be a human being is actually to realize that personally, yes, you own and move your body and mind, but impersonally, existence does not belong to individual consciousness. It belongs to higher consciousness. That means the explanations on this reality, simulated reality, cannot be found from the human framework. And then we wonder why the playful, those who have fun, and those who love are ahead, like solar-wise. For some reason, I have not been born here, and if they tell me, how do you know you're not a prophet? I'll be like 100% I know I'm not a prophet, because I have bitterness. I have a little bit of bitterness in me. And this bitterness in me is not because of how it saw reality could happen and reality didn't. This bitterness is from how something natural to my being does not align. There's something about my existence that doesn't align with the reality I'm existing in. And this makes me wonder about all of it. Okay? And you guys are like, are we listening to an existentially paranoid person? Not at all. Let me tell you why. Because it does not the unknown does not convert to fear for me. It converts into fascination. Anything I have truly cared for in this life has been something that has had present within it a connection to a realm of its own called the fascination. And when you find the fascinating realms of reality, reality's values and the energy that moves it shifts and changes. I want to dive deeper into this lecture and to show you and show whoever, because there's always a chance that these lectures of mine may become some sort of essential archive to human understanding. Who knows? It depends on who I was. You know, sometimes it's all clear and sometimes it's all vague. But reality goes forth and you get to see it. And I want to tell you 100%, if you look at it differently, it means something else. It means something else. All heartbreak has been an action that has meant something else. It's a double-edged moment, and you're in a multidimensional reality, even though it's singular to the system admin. The system admin's like, yo, I just commanded and created a world. But you are living in that world, and you have access to pre-existence. Okay? What we're dealing with is how every human being that's alive and older than us has dealt with it so far. Sometimes I look at reality and to me it's hilarious. It's like a being, like life. Just the moment you open your eyes and there's a world there you can engage. It's like a being, and every person's has an interaction with this being. That means it doesn't matter who I talk to specifically or what I specifically do. At the end of the day, there is a good there. The world is like a being that you can say good night to. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying what we find on Earth is hilarious, fascinating, and unknown. Okay? It is hilarious due to its ability to contrast realities. Okay? So if they ask me, hey, what would be a human that would be worthy of leading humanity? I would say it has to be a human that has an ability to not be human. Because in our humanness, we are in the frame of that reality. That means the moment I think I'm correct, every one of you are wrong. The moment The moment I think I am the most powerful, what are you weaklings doing in my presence? I'm laughing due to the ridiculousness of it all. Okay, I'm that person who laughs and then stops, and they're like, is he serious? And then laughs again. Let me tell you why I stop. Okay. For me, I had to come to terms with this, just like how, parents sit down their kids and explain things to them. I had to do this with myself. Okay. And I had to be like, all right, man, take a seat. And I'm like, all right, I'm seated. I'm not talking to myself. I'm just telling you how my thoughts occur. Okay. Like what the imagery of it were. Okay. Like you're a poet if you can get any imagery from the inner realms to the outer realms across, you know? That means if you tell me, like, imagine someone standing beside a door and the person's like, hey man, is this door open or closed? And you just look at them and you're like, it's open. Okay. What you have done has been equivalent to any act of poetry. You have revealed why are human beings right now, there's billions of souls on earth and they are guided, called forth and prioritize revelation. But when you look at the nature of the human being, this system, as much as it is bizarre and it makes you angry and want to hate it, but it is really smart. It's a really genius system. You're telling me in just the fathomability of the creation of a being. That means we're not talking like to me, there's a reason why like women have a divine responsibility that in some sense men will never understand. Men will understand but can never comprehend its actuality because of the positions of reality we occupy. Like right now, I am not every location of existence, knowing everything that's going on all the time kind of person. Do you know? And I don't want to be that kind of person because I lose my personhood. There's a couple things that you got to be careful when it comes to the nature of the mind. Infinity is like power. Not every human mind on this planet is conditioned to acknowledge it. Some beings on this planet, they never need to notice the infinite or the unknown. Why? Because they're good at looping. Do you know? And it's bizarre. It's like when you look at this reality, it's honestly like an office. It has a sort of strange corporate divine structure, okay? And it's like those employees who are really good at their job, it's like say goodbye to your raise, you know, you exceptional a-hole. Because what it is, it's all about efficiency. All leaders want the efficiency of the whole system. Most human beings cannot be responsible for whole systems, but they can be responsible for the cogs and gears and machine, right? For me, there was a moment where I asked myself, why isn't every human being on planet having 200%, like above, not possible, let's say 100% confidence and battling it out over ownership of reality? That means when I look at this world, I'm like, yo man, my mind gives me an ability to see a world of stupid people. And that world is very short-lived. But my mind also gives me an ability to imagine if every person, imagine you stepped into a mall and the Cosmos, the system admin was like, I like you, kid. I'm going to give you a good experience today. And the system admin, in some sense, made like you entered a mall for 1 hour and made every person in that hour in your presence be the smartest being you had ever seen. Do you understand? For me, I'm telling you, yo, it's all about intelligence, and the hatred comes simply because I think the biggest form of hatred, they're like, yo, man, what's the, like, you know, it's like, first of all, I can't believe I'm even talking about this, but I think we should, like, I should go further here. So what is the worst kind of hatred? Okay. What's the worst kind of hatred? I want you to envision, whoever you are on this planet, just what is the worst kind of hatred that's happened a lot, happening way more than any other type of hatred? And if your answer includes anything other than yourself, then it's wrong. So what I mean by that is the biggest form of active hatred I have seen on this planet is self-hatred. There are beings on this planet who may hate themselves. They may hate not just the concept of themselves, but they may hate the context of reality. They wake up every day and they're like, what is this? Some sort of looping hell, or was there more and we forgot to ask or see? Do you know? Like, there is something more important than just human stories, guys. Okay, sorry to break it, sorry to say it directly to a species, but it's as if like there is a hidden shame. Do you know? Let me tell you what is a type of hatred, you know, that at least one soul has experienced, a type of self-hatred. It's like hating for yourself for who you could have been that you never were. You don't understand. The mind has an ability to give you a vision of life that you may not be able to separate from actual reality. Okay? And we call these poor souls on earth like they're crazy. It's not that they're crazy, it's that the human process is like, imagine there's a space of awareness. Okay, stuff is happening in this space. You might treat yourself as your body, but for me the body's always been a sort of, like, I don't want to even say it's been like a vehicle. It's honestly felt like something I'm not in. Like a part of me is in. Like, when you wear a glove in your hand, do you feel you're the glove? Like, do you feel the gloves covering your whole body? No. Right? So I feel a part of my intelligence as a being, the physical extension of it. It's based on biological laws. Do you know what that means? That means biology, and it's based on gravity. Like the cruelest joke would be if the gravity of our world changes, like its gravitational constants change. That would be like, what are you telling me? Generations of people got used to this kind of gravity for billions of years, and then they're like, whatever, man. Just like, man, let's all float. It is a question of how deep down a part of you has a psychological relationship with truth. You don't understand. Being religious is like you cannot hate God in the same way, in the same way you cannot hate like an intelligence that knows more than you. Okay, it's very hard to hate smart people. Okay, but I'm telling you, there is a type of hatred which is a denial of reality. Let's say somebody's about to, somebody's like, working and trying to get to know like this girl, out of your group of friends or something. It's like you try to shield that moment. Do you know what I'm saying? In in the sense of like outcome orientation, because let me tell you what all of us are. We are a bunch of beings that wake up every day and we're like, is something gonna happen today or not? That's it. That's all of human history for you. Geniuses were like, something better happen. Like, honestly, I don't know how to tell you. Like, I gotta show you how I deal with hatred here, okay? Because I don't know my destiny, and a foolproof strategy is to be like, okay, if anything happens to me, like if I have to leave this world room suddenly, they're like, all right, man, time's up. I'm like, man, I was just starting to talk about it. You have cyber me, okay? That means I got the privilege in this lifetime to create a cyber version of myself that I will never, I may not be alive to see how interaction occurs. But I know there's a value. I know that my soul is behaving like a backup protocol to civilization. Do you know what I'm saying to you? My soul, the fact that a human being has been born, and this human being has been born and is like, all right, I'm going to archive civilization. It's like, wait a minute. Why has souls been commanded? It's like you were looking for the command of your soul yesterday. And today you realize, no. The souls have been commanded. I'm in a world where you guys don't realize it because you're too busy being your ego, but your souls are all commanded. We are all commanded into position. And it's signal oriented. Like you can look at it like throughout the day. I've seen enough human life as someone who lives in the city to be like, okay, all right, that human being, something internally happened and they had a motivation to move that way. Every moment, I don't know if I'm looking at life or if I'm looking at death. I don't know if the ending, it's strange. It's like your whole life you're waiting for this event that ends you. And we're all normal with that. People are like, yo, man, I'm cool with like shutting down my psychology and going to sleep for 8 hours, having dreams, my own films, seeing my own inner cinema, and then waking up, right? I have no problem with that. I don't have problem with just like not existing for 8 hours and then waking up. But death, get out of here. We gotta stop that. Sorry guys, I laugh, but these are not laughs of pity. These are laughs of This whole time, there's been a better way. I am a firm believer of this. There was this poet who was like, they're like, yo, man, what did you think of Rumi poems? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I read one and it's like, you were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? And it had my whole month like occupied. What does that mean? I have wings, but why am I crawling? Could it be that we're living a simulated, meaningless life in the presence of the most meaningful moment in being? Could there be mysteries that surpass us? Could we have been fools and were too scared to accept? Oh, humanity, the challenges ahead like, there's a point where fear turns into fascination. I firmly believe this. You know, Family Guy, the show Family Guy depicted this. You know, people are like, yo, man, that show's rubbish. And I'm like, no, it came from the human mind. There's something, there's a depth to it. You cannot see like a human being may not acknowledge depth themselves, but the process of life, its strangeness. Let me tell you how the human mind's working. It's comparing itself. Do you know? Any parents that have told their children about like other kids, like of other parents, that has been a genius strategy to introduce reality to you. Oh man, this episode's supposed to be like about hatred, and I'm like giggling away. You know, like, okay, let's get serious. What do I hate about this moment? Let me tell you what I hate, guys. Let me tell you what I hate. If you ask me right now, hey man, have you been living like a loving saint, angelic saint your whole life? I'll be like, no, I can't. Like, I can't testify to that. But if you ask me, I don't know how to explain aside from the fact that when I think about hatred on this planet and when I think about my own hatred has been just directed to myself. I understood it as a kid. Anger, hatred, emotion, everything targeted at the self. Somebody makes you upset, instead of like externally like doing something, the mind was conditioned to be like, okay, internally. Let me tell you what it's kind of like, let me tell you what it is. Every person in this world has a value system or adopts a value system and looks at the world as a being. And what separates souls is not what they are and what they do specifically. That separates the body and mind. But what separates the soul is the intensity that being acknowledges. Sometimes, sure, for the mind, the person's living an intense, messed up life, right? But for the soul is in some sense limit testing its own ignorance. I'm trying to tell you, like, not only has a body been trying to survive here, not as only a mind tried to live here, but also a soul has been trying to find itself here. Deep down, what you are is not an idea, it's the accumulation of all ideas and witnessing them. You are a witnessing force. You are behaving more like the soul is like the force that moves the life form, the form of life. Maybe it's been 2 years since I've heard this song I'm playing in the background. What can I say to you? A person, if I use myself as a personal life as a reference, what have I hated? I have hated how I did not have a better awareness to my decisions. I have hated how I doubted the system admin, and so I was caught in like a semi-divine, semi-ignorant, simulated reality. I have reached that moment where I can tell you I tried. I don't want to say I tried. I want to say that I experienced the type of moment on this earth when I I didn't just hate myself. I hated how it all was. Okay? I'm not like, this is not some ego game. I'm telling you the truth. There was a part of me that was like, why is everything so careless? Why is everything so slow and looping? Like, there was a part of me, it's like this OCD part of you that in some sense is angry not at any specific thing. You're angry at something deeper. You're angry at the nature of existence. And it's not like you're playing transcendental ego games of like, yo man, in my past life I did something so now I'm this. No. It is deeper than past and future explanations of the present. The present is a mystery. It is where Aldous Huxley said there are things known and things unknown, and in between are the doors of perception. Well, guess what? That's what you call a mystery. Do you know? People are like, the episode got too real, you know, it's like scaring the viewers away. You know what grinds my gears? Like, what can I really say to a temporary world? I mean, dream on, dream on. All right, jokes aside. Yes, there has been ways I've looked at both people, life, objects. I have hated objects. Like my foot has hit like the side of a doorway and I've been like, just, it's like, yo man, how advanced is the human mind? When your foot hits somewhere, you humanize the object and you start cussing it out. Like, I don't know. I think hatred arises from rejection and denial. Denial of the passage of reality. Every soul I see, you're a traveler in this realm. You have character customization like a video game. You know, but you didn't customize the character. Like, you can choose to move it, but you didn't design yourself. You didn't design this world. You may even wonder at some point, why as a soul am I being tested? Because I believe in a supreme perfection. I believe in a God that cannot be limited to anything that affiliates or associates with form. The presence of God is the supreme life of the world. It is where the world goes. It is what every existential thing praises behind itself. What is accuracy in a changing world? What is leadership in a changing world? What is leadership in a world that has a system admin? What is heaven? What is freedom? What is reality? What are the motives of human beings? Human beings are creatures that they experience a greater experience through communication. That means if you were to look at language, you know, and study it like some next level like architect or something, you'd kind of be like, okay, let's look at language. And does language make a person's life better? Yes, like 100% of the human species. We can't say 100%, but most human beings are waking up and engaging with language. They're engaging in the linguistic simulation. They're living life in accordance as a character and a story, and everything has values. The deeper questions of reality only open up when a part of you has to know where you actually are. because that is the game humanity has played. This is why knowledge is an infinite Elder Scroll. It's an infinite scroll in the sense of like there's going to be human beings 1,000 years from now, and they're going to be like, "What is this?" You know, and there's going to be there were human beings like 1,000 years before I was born, and they're like, "Yo, what is this?" You know, and that was the mentality, the great questions that reality presents us. You're not just in entering a world where you got a bunch of answers, and you're like, "All right, man, I've transformed into the answers I found. Now, what do I do now?" Well, guess what? It was never about identifying with information. It was wondering about the source of information, right? And the quality of information. You're not here to just like this is coming from someone who has I don't know, I don't look to I don't they're like, "Yo man, you got to get rid of your ego when you go towards God." And I'm like, "No problem. I've like my ego has been a distasteful aspect of my reality. To be a self when you are actually the sight of the full capacity of the moment." Language to me is like, "All right, man, whose novel am I going to be in today?" When I talk to people, I'm like, how aware is this person that there is worlds beyond how they see meaning? They're like, "What kind of a wife do you want, man?" I'm like, one who sees the depth of meaning and understands like the chaos is not death or evil or corruption or something like that. That the whole effort of civilization is to preserve civility, and the whole effort of everything else in the moderating in reality is like, let it go. Bite into the forbidden fruit. Like that could have been a name for an episode I would have given, even if I didn't have the name of this one, right? You know, are we all biting into the forbidden fruit? Is every moment that we're alive, the type of decision we make, is it governed based on being referenced to the original or the simulated? People think it's easy, like to be a Muslim. Do you know what it means? It means that the higher power has restricted reality. Sorry, guys, had to answer a phone call there. All right. I'm trying to communicate to you that when you attempt to understand something, you want to comprehend the true position of the value or values in reality. Human beings, they live their lives in accordance to linguistic value. That means there's some human beings where language is their reality. That means what is the human being doing? Simulating linguistic structures to live in a healthy way. Like they're like, what are human beings doing on Earth? Trying to find the best way to continue in this world. We don't know why it's like this. We don't know why there's apples on trees. We don't know why existence has been this story we told and forgot we told it, and we think now the story is more real than the actual reality. It's very fascinating, but it's like in the all philosophers have been just like looking at all human beings that have been born, like philosophers have been looking at reality, and it's like, guys, is this a verb or a noun? They're like, is this a noun or is this a verb? If it's a verb, language can't contain it. If it's a noun, language is its only container. What else can we do? Religion is about anybody who's interested in contacting higher intelligence. And once you truly comprehend it, you realize truth. That's why I call it the original power was there. For me, if they say, hey, what metric do you use in regards to liking and disliking people? I'm like, it's very simple. I just see a human being and I ask myself, are they conscious of the system admin of their reality? And I would say a majority of people are not. They are expressing power in the form of characterhood. That means the question of how deep is this world? Like when I was young, I was just like stumbling into the unknown. You know what? Now I'm at a position where I'm like, okay, we got to see the unknown. The unknown is the ability of any way for reality to happen that is not known yet. They're like, yo, man, why are you so creative? And the person's like, excuse me, how are you not creative in an unknown world? How can you not realize there's so many ways, so many viewpoints? Like they could put an apple on a table, right? And this is going to be the most famous apple on the table. And they're going to be like, why? Because it's the work of art was to symbolize all the people who will ever look at it. Do you understand? The art exists within you. Beauty is existing within you. And now the question, where is divinity existing? Divinity is the ultimate managing force of outer and external eventhood. That means after you've thought a thought and after you've moved a move, the awareness to what is left is the soul. The soul is the viewer of the finale. It's what the finale of reality is waiting for. And who knows, based on how we've lived, the most advanced form state of communication comes to me. When I looked at people when I was younger, I was like, man, do I have to really buy into, like, opt into this sort of classical kind of like this class system based reality? Do people are like branding people as this and that and this and that, and I was like, man, this feels like this, like playing Lego when I played as a kid. I would just create whatever I wanted and overlay it on reality and think that's what it is. But that is not the case. Maturity is the recognition that you are not just an intelligent being, you are the being where intelligence is present through. Doesn't matter who you are an intelligent being right now. Okay, if you can move your body, you're intelligent. You're an intelligent being. If you have a heartbeat, okay, you're intelligent, bro. So but the whole point of it is you have this place that is just space, and there's stuff in it that is the landscape, and there's moving stuff in it. And the whole question of reality is, how is stuff moving? How is someone giving a podcast right now? The questioner realizes its existence is the ultimate question. The doubter realizes he has been doubting his own doubt as well. There's a reason Friedrich Nietzsche says in fighting monsters, one should be careful not to become a monster, because it's the point of the environment shaping you. Everybody can act like, yo, man, I'm the strongest, most powerful alpha, gangster kind of person on reality. But little do they know that society has already put them into submission. The system you find yourself in is smarter than you because it is more ancient than you. But you, as a soul that has found itself in the world, have an advantage. Your advantage has to do with your presence and with what you are. Deep down, you were created. That means you are a creation of a higher power. Do you know what that means? That means not only is everything simulated and reality's become a Mario game, Mamma Mia. But what I'm trying to tell you, it's about how fast it moves behind your eyes, and when you actually look at life, you see it. Right? It's the depth of reality, unleashing the unknown. And do you know what it means? The unknown is pretty much like, You've identified what you know as safe. Anything you don't know, you're gonna feel unsafe. And anytime people have said, yo man, that's too deep, that's like, yo man, I can't conceptualize any further. Do you know? Who knows anything at all? I am here to tell you that all of you have values that you can't understand. As a Muslim, you're like, what is the body? There's an answer. What is the mind? There's an answer. Do you know what is the soul? And they're like, yo, man, you can't know it. And Muslims were like, okay, understandable, because we are praising a power that is beyond conditions. I'm telling you, you're a simulated being. You've been simulated to want conditions. Deep down, your soul wants to know what is going on here and what is the greatest presence. It's like that attitude who's like, who owns this place, yo? Like who is in charge of reality right now? Right? And it's a battle. It's a battle between your self-simulated meaning, other self-simulated meaning, and confidence was just the ignorant pressure. I don't know how to explain it to you, but sometimes life is about running and sometimes you're just chilling and watching it. To me, I understand it's a system. It's a system that has a spectrum of different intensities that beings all around the place are experiencing reality. The idea of to be an advanced being, it's like, you know what it is, guys? Like, we got to bring this back. I think I for some reason, I'm here to usher in a new era of discourse among human consciousness. Okay? Like, I'm getting tired of the hidden. Okay, because what is hidden is unhidden behind our eyes to some degree. Okay, meaning is an internal event, form is an external event, and the combination of two is what we call a reality. A reality means a world that is being real to something. And you know, they make it sound so easy, man. Yeah, man, get to know a person, you know. It's like, what is a person? What is a soul? Are all souls destined to hold hands, or is reality designed for ability being positioned where it's required? There may be a soul that may look at itself and be like, man, you know, my soul is a higher rank than the world I was born into. Why was I born here? Little do they know, right, that it's all so ingeniously coordinated that the flaw that means your life fails when you doubt it. Doubt is like a very dangerous tactic. You make someone doubt who they are, like then you control the market. Like, there's people who think like that. It is about vision. After some point, it's like when you really think about hatred and you're like, what do I hate? It's like, what can I hate? That's the answer to that question. And I'm like, can I hate 8 billion human beings for being evil and messed up on the planet? Like, there's human beings doing messed up stuff on the planet right now. Do you know? Like, cruelty and evil messed up level, right? Like, unnecessary evil is the most, like, worst thing you can see on this planet. Do you know? And it's like at some point looking at life and being like, our realities, is it survival of the strongest reality, not the fittest animal? Like, what kind of buffoonery is that? Do you know? It's the survival of the greatest vision, folks. You don't understand. The outer realms, it's kind of like they've brought you in to attend it, but you didn't make it, and you're kind of there, and you're like, all right, I guess it's a co-creative action then. I gotta go do something that's beyond the boundaries of my selfhood, you know? Because the depth of the soul is so vast that a mind that truly wants answers in reality, like right now, if you ask people what's the smartest kind of person, they're gonna be like a genius. But let me tell you, there's something beyond that, okay? There is genius, and then there are the champions of destiny. There are two different classes. But pretty much what it means is anybody who introduces a new world, okay, in the moment that had never existed before, that is genius level act, right? That means imagine all the people in life who've lived in like tough conditions and survival conditions, like all those people in poverty, okay, start explaining to all those people who are not in poverty the intensities of the values of life they deal with on a daily basis. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so obvious. We're creatures that communicate. We're creatures that are living lives that are information based. Everybody wakes up and scavenges for information, right? And the quality of your information suggests the quality of your life, you know? And when I say information, it's not limited, it's everything. That means your body is also information. To the degree that you go to the doctor's office and the doctor like punches you in the face and it's like, does your face hurt? You're like, yeah, doctor, you know, I can. Chaos is like a type of gas that can enter the room if purity is not maintained. Like I could see that. But I firmly believe that if any soul understands that there is a greater soul, a greater unfathomable being present here, it's in the room, it's in the world room. This world room is not empty. These atheists are either scared or foolish, you know? They don't get it. It's a higher, the human species in the history of its psychology has made contact with what appears to be a supreme intelligence to reality. Do you know what that means? We're characters in a fiction novel and we suddenly notice the handwriting of the system admin and we were like, okay, it's not about just being characters in a story. Why were we written? Why are we existing? What are we here for? And the answer to that is for the system admin. Why? Because everything returns to the system admin. Becoming a Muslim is understanding that all simulations you see right now, all of God's existence and creation you see right now, the apocalypse is the great return of manifestation back into the authority of the, not back into the authority, back into the knowing of the system admin. That means I'm just a thought outside of God's mind for a little while. But what is God? God is not humanizable. It is beyond frames of reality. And they're like, what's the most advanced thing you can do on the planet? All right, man, I gotta go figure out what the edge of the world is. I gotta go figure out what the edge of truth is. I gotta go figure out why human beings have had divine experiences on earth and how reality is not just limited between man. You know, it's like man is sandwiched between the beastly and the angelic. And the angelic is the supremacy of how information, pretty much a soul, when it gets near to its creator, everything you see around you, imagine they're souls. And all these beings that are souls, the moment they notice their creator, their ego is valueless. In the presence of your source, the simulated identity breaks. And so what is reality then? A truth beyond containment. What is advancement in an unknown world? Is it to loop our knowledge and slowly update it? No. It's the revaluing of the human position. What am I? Where am I? Why am I here? Do I exist simply to be the existence of this moment, or is the existence of this moment the preparation of another one? Where is it all going? And why is reality boring? That means they're like, yo, Mr.Within, do you feel the system admin is punishing you? And I would be like, in the sense that I don't see it as a punishment. I've learned not to see it as a punishment, but to see something ahead, that means imagine you could right now look at me and see my future self and tell me, and I could know my future self. It's as if it's the intensity of realizing, what do I do with the burden of with my mind being capable to see something so much more advanced than what is going on now. Do you understand? When you contact the advanced, life becomes strange. Because what you thought was your world is God's world, and you're waiting as a servant of the ultimate reality for the next command. The days are not filled with a boss. People are like, yo man, I got a boss. And I'll be like, yo man, there's one boss to all of this. And the game that's being played is, how aware are you of the system that you are existing in? How dare you not have pursued this further? You know, every human being on this earth has to look at life. You just have to stare at any moment, and after like maybe 10 seconds be like, what am I looking at? So guys, I guess what I'm trying to tell you is how I deal with my existential hatred. How I deal with my existential hatred is I just look at life, I look at everything, I try to just assume I can just for a moment be like, okay, this is my world, this is everything that's happening here. And when I see messed up stuff, or I don't want to say stupid or smart, because that's cultural value. In actuality, what it's going on, it's the activation of spirit in reality. That means some people who are confident, like to some people, there's no such thing as confidence. It's that their spirit is active in the moment. That means their soul has been called to act in that moment. Do you know? Because regardless of what worldly situation we live in, we're all souls waiting for the command. I'm telling you, we're all designed as souls in a commanded universe. This doesn't mean you gotta have an ego of a commander and anybody you see you start commanding. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying realizing authority of power. Right now, in order to live in civilization, you must accept civilization's invisible laws upon the visible structure. Similarly, if you are to access divine reality, you must accept divine laws. But these are not like basic laws like this. Pretty much, it's like when there is no God, what you think is like important. But when there is God, you realize you are not primary. You're not the main event. To be religious is to like accept that you're a side character. The main character is that which everything is going towards. And you can see it that we're pushing our way or we're being pulled. See, that's the thing, guys. If you think hatred, if you hate the idea of hatred, then you have, I'm sorry to say, your brain has been washed without your knowing. What do I mean by this? The unknown is how a person can be honest. That means the honest answer is unknown. I am not a hateless person, but that hatred is not directed to the human archetype. It is directed to the discomfort I find with seeing more than that can happen. And really, you cannot blame anyone. They're all existing for the first time to themselves. And we have to just figure it out somehow, and it's all about pulling the strings of mystery. Anytime you're visited by a fascinating or mysterious moment, that should be the secular divine experience, okay? You know? So you can't hate a species that doesn't know better, and you can't hate a creator that knows better. So the hatred either has to vanish or it has to be taken by the self. Like what I can't do, like what do you do with what you can't identify to anything else? You either let go or you accept. I either accept this is reality, or I wonder that there's more to reality. The true answer is that it's a very Oscar-winning performance, theatrical simulation, psychological simulation to be a human being. But what it actually means to a human being, in no way I can say in 2025 humans were the most advanced version of a human aware of a human. No way I can say that, because I know in the future they're going to be aware of every cell that moves in their body. Right now I'm just aware of outside of my body, like human beings pretty much just put clothes on and speak, you know, like we are in a conditioned reality, which means there is no such thing as like the ultimate alpha or strong person, because it's society, the environment is the alpha, okay? What the environment is pretty much beings. They were starving for food and they were savage. Now they're starving for a standard of survival. How much greater can it all be? That's the question. And how advanced can it be? Like, you know, they're like, what part of school of thought are you? You know, and I'll be like, I'm part of that school of thought of a human being that is bored of existence. And I'm like, okay, how do we solve that problem? Okay, either novelty has to start from human beings, or they have to be introduced to it. My aim has always been, because I concluded this is the ultimate answer. This was the smartest, the greatest answer my mind could fathom. The fastest way to build an advanced civilization is to advance everybody in the civilization, and then it will become some sort of advanced civilization. In my mind, in inner realms, I can see specific advanced civilizations, but in the outer realms, who knows what all of you are going to decide. And so we're here to be responsible for an external biological existential destiny, and we're also here to be responsible for an internal psychological experiential storified destiny, you know. And then beyond that, we're like, okay, what were we really? And that no answer satisfies. So we're unknown beings. That's why I'm saying, because we're unknown beings, we cannot claim reality. Because the soul cannot be known, we cannot assume this is real. Because you can't know who you are or where you actually are, it has to be all simulated. Okay, so right now what we're doing as human beings is we've created these linguistic ideological cities, and we're living in them and looping in them, and we're like, what now, guys? You know, and in actuality what we need is to unleash not the chaos, because might is not just in chaos. That means they're like, yo, man, it seems like after our great grandparents, everybody started to make more mistakes, every generation, and it's not that, it's that the world is living a life while we are. And beyond the world's life, the system admin is waiting for you to notice it. What greater thing as a human being can I tell you? What is there to teach? They're like, yo, Mr. Within designed the most advanced educational system on the planet, but then he doesn't like teaching. And I'm like, because you're not a student, get real. You're all unknown beings acting in accordance to where your form started. Like, I know, like, there's a way to look at life and be like, oh my God, it's a dream come true, right? Ideologically and subjectively, a dream that came true. Do you know? But what actually is going on requires just like okay, if like when they told me to be honest, should I consider what an honest soul would be? And an honest soul cannot lie to what it is being. That means they're like, yo, man, how did you behave in front of God? And I was like, I realized I could never lie. I realized I could never deceive. I realized I could never grab and claim power. That the true power that truly the soul feels it deserves is not something it claims, it's something it is given or commanded. To a general, like leading an army, there is no alpha male or beta male or something like that. That's mental backwardness. It's like, guys, the whole point of all of us existing in this moment is to serve the greatest kingdom of mankind. And whether you know it or not, you are a human. By being human, you're responsible for humanity. How can you be responsible? Humanity as a unique DNA and soul that's never been here before, by in some sense exactly noticing that and living in a way that is so advanced that every soul around you is fascinated. There is no other way. You must seek the advancement of reality before you can accept its looping ways. What else can be said? The system admin gives the command, and the souls that are serving reality with their system admin privileges, they notice reality. And when a human being enters a moment, lesser animals can testify it's like a higher being has entered the room. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're all higher beings compared to every other species on the planet. And as higher beings, you have access to the system admin. It's not like you have access. It's that what is the greatest thing that a intelligent species can do? Advance its intelligence. And intelligence is how you have access reality, and you've taken it like they gave you a slice of cake, they gave you a slice of reality, and they're like, did you believe it? Great, now act like what you believed. Good job, you simulated machine. Guys, there's nothing wrong with chaos because God has created it for a reason. But it doesn't mean you should be chaotic. It means the presence and the soul of the moment is greater, and you're actually in a world where it's not that you can get an answer, it's a verb. What's greater than knowledge? How the soul animated into life, like pretty much. That's like, they're like, what are you looking into nowadays? Yeah, just pretty much how in every moment consciousness is engaging existence. And when you actually look at a person, you're looking at an unknown soul trying to figure out what they are and can be. And really reality is actually like we're going, like I think there's too many souls that can see this. And they're like, yo, man, 100% we could build a smarter civilization. And I don't know, like, why aren't we? And it's like, I don't know, the species that was too shy to advance. Like, They're like, your ancestors were so confident. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course. They had spears and they were fighting off tigers for food. Like, of course I don't have that level of confidence. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, what's Mr. Within doing on Tuesday? You know, like hunting buffalo with a spear. Do you know what I mean? Without shoes. Like, can you imagine that shit? Honestly, guys, it's all about feeling like our life was more than our life. And that feeling can't go away until you realize there's a higher power that is the most in life. Like, I can't claim to be alone anymore. None of us were alone. We're inside a divine surveillance state. Everything I'm saying right now, every way I'm existing right now, internally, externally, it's within the divine surveillance state. It's known. That means nothing is lost. All my lectures, even the ones I couldn't upload on YouTube, they're not lost forever. They're within the divine surveillance logs, probably. And why? Like, am I here doing this? Is because a part of me is like, okay, I understand the restrictions. Like, if metaphysics is off the table, I guess the only thing that remains is reality. It is now time to advance your species. It is not the honor of a lifetime, because it doesn't happen every lifetime. It happens when the system needs advancement. That means they're like, yo, man, do you see yourself in a prophetic role? I'm like, no way, man. I'm just like the existential system's way of being like, okay, we've reached a limit where we need to advance everything. It's like stuff's looping too much, right? And so the whole point of it is like, even the name Mr. Within, like, what is that? I'm like, first, it's just Mr. Within. I'm just like a simple guy. Do you know what I mean? But aside from that, right, what is within you is the life force that moves your life form. And it's about wondering and opening up the human discussion to that level. That it's like, okay, we've studied how the form has moved, but what caused it to move, and what could the form be covering, and what is the deeper dimensions within reality that are taking place. It's another way of saying, how many ways are there to look at one moment? And it's like, there's infinite ways, but you realize, okay, so in an infinite, all you can view multiple choice, okay, which one do you choose? You can't choose as an honest soul. So ultimately, the path of intellect returns to the path of knowing the Supreme and waiting for the Supreme service. I'll give you an example, like a human being passing by, like a hurt animal or a turtle that has plastic around its neck, and that human being like getting rid of the plastic around the turtle's neck, like that's like a soul that was conscious enough to notice that there was something in the moment so much more important than its own emotions on itself, and it acted. Let us usher in the advanced humanity together. Let us live in advanced ways. And they're like, yo, man, what's the basics of advancement? You just wonder about like the most advanced way and you follow that lead. So they're like, yo, man, like advanced, like tables and chairs, for example. And I'll be like, okay, a more advanced version of tables and chairs would be when legs become obsolete. And you have these like hovering tables and chairs, and the era where no object falls, they just hover in the air. You know? It's like you're sitting on the couch watching TV and you're like, where are my car keys? And you just press a button and all the things that resemble keys just float in the air and come to you. Do you know what I mean? And so what I'm saying is like eventually the future will experience comforts we can't fathom. But of course, it's the might of an advanced civilization's awakening, really. in the name of God, in the presence of God, awakened by the system admin. That means I'm that soul waiting to be like, okay, when will that command be given? All right, human civilization, advance in the most advanced way towards your creator, which is the most advanced power, the source. A return beyond the simulated psychological, linguistic, ideological domains of human conscious living towards the consciousness returning to its origin, as simple as that. They were like, were you victorious? They're like, I returned to the original reality. What other victory can there be? And so to wonder deeply, I think that the only way out of this simulation really is through the system admin's mercy. That's I think what all the enlightened people on the planet can say. There's nothing else left to say. They're like, there's a power beyond the imaginable. I'm an imaginable entity. What can I do once I notice the unimaginable? Then every moment I can notice the unimaginable. And when I notice the unimaginable in every moment, there's nothing left to imagine. That means your days become strangely, internally, like if they were like, yo man, what do your inner realms look like? I would tell you they look they feel like a sunny, like windless, like, I don't know how to explain it, like my soul expresses itself in ways that it took a while for my human psychology to kind of find a way to even accept it and express it. But really, it is a reaction to the depth of what it saw. So I don't know how people are living, but my view on it is that every soul on earth, a part of them, most likely subconsciously, has concluded an ultimatum to all of this. That means if you can act normal throughout the day, you have already accepted subconsciously a conclusion to reality. How advanced can we really be? What is the path when all paths lead to the original reality? They're like, what was it like to be 33 in 2025? You looked at the cultural programs of reality, you saw how people were living, and you ask yourself why, and you realize it was a massive storytelling operation. So what do you do when you reach the language threshold? You must now become fascinated with the true reality. There's nothing greater that can be taught. Simulated beings wondering about the original. That's what's going on here. Anyways, thank you for listening. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. And there's hatred dissolves when a greater value that has nothing to do with hatred is found, believe it or not. That means there's a greatness beyond destruction. If you find that, you're blessed. And it's God-given. That means that God's mercy is the most important decision maker of reality. You need to start noticing there is a higher power here. You need to establish a relationship with this higher power. And you need to be conscious that moments are occurring, not just in your presence, but in the presence of the higher power. And so no longer your vision is the only vision in the moment of being. That is the world. That means everything in existence knows what created it, so knows its original, knows the origin, knows its origin through the command of manifestation. That means more than I think it's natural laws keeping reality, I think the moments are divinely commanded. There is no explanation to a commanded instantaneous manifestation. Aside from it was commanded into being. God commanded us into existence. God commanded us to say the divine names. God commanded existence to praise Him through what He had created. God commands us now in a strange way. No, I shouldn't say strange, but this is like one way to look at it. God, it's as if God is commanding us, like, okay, you're all now positioned in one world room. You're all different beings. You all have different desires and wants and outcomes, and you got to figure it out. Good luck. And it's not good luck, but it's like God's like, okay, do that. And so we open our eyes in this world and we're like, okay, we're going about our day, but now it's about the command of the system admin. There is no lucky, unlucky. There is no good or bad. I shouldn't say there is no good or bad, but there is no, it's as if it's divine will. It's like whatever happened in the moment, it happened. It's strange. Existence is strange. It's very difficult because the moment you cannot tell reality from a dream, that's when everything becomes dreamlike, because it's all about where have you planted the flag of the context of your reality. For me, it's a divine reality because I acknowledge a reality where there's higher intelligence in it. Because no way mankind is like the most advanced. No way. Compared to other species, yes, but it's not the most advanced intelligence and power at the moment. And it's being tested to see if it can be noticed. If it can notice, like, yo, man, I didn't create this world. I didn't create myself. What's going on here? Oh, it has an original power that made it. We're really looking for the original as a simulated being. It's like that's what it's like being alive now. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. There's so much more to this. But anyways, in the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful.